What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Moonbuilt Garage. And today, we're going to be taking care of a little bit of light body work on this door here. And considering I've never done anything like this before, this should be pretty funny. Keep watching. Alright, so here you can see there's just a few holes in the door here that are from some old mirrors that were mounted to the door. There's actually a dent right here, and then right on the top here on the inside, right here you can see that there's a crack in the metal here. I already sanded it down a little bit, just get down to bare metal, and I actually cut into a little bit with a cutoff wheel just to widen the gap a little bit. So I've already gone ahead and completely stripped the door. I took the window out, window track out, pieces that go here. I'm going to also cover the inside of the door with some sort of sound deadener just to kind of get rid of that hollow metal sound, quieter on the road. And I may end up eventually adding a speaker to the door. So I figure I'll add the sound deadener. Probably get rid of some of this green paint. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that yet, but this all needs to be cleaned up. I need to get all the old mountings for the door panels, that strip insulation that goes around the door panel. So I've got the door completely stripped down. I'm just going to do a little minor filling some of the holes, getting it lined with sound deadener, replacing the window tracks, pieces like that. So let's get to it. Alright, so after about 20 minutes or so, the hammer and dolly, which for the first time I don't think is too terribly bad, they actually turned out okay. I mean, are they perfect? No, not even close. But are they better than what they were? Yeah, and I'm good with that. It's not dented nearly as much. I was able to get most of that out. Same with this section over here. It was a little low where the screws were. I was able to get those back out. And the one up here on the A-pillar. It's still got a dent in it, but it's actually kind of creased right there. So I'm not really sure without being able to get anything back there because there's actually some sort of something there. So I'm not really able to get up there behind it to really do anything. So I think I'm just going to have to grind it down, weld it up, and just deal with it. These though, I'm going to kind of sand them down and get them ready to weld up. I'll show you my super fancy copper spoon that's going to go behind there. You got to watch to see that thing. All right, we're just going to go ahead and sand these holes down, get them down to some clean metal, get them ready for plug welds. I think I have a 80 grit on the 4.5-inch grinder. Should make quick work of getting these sanded down. Let's knock it out. Now that we got those sanded down, we can go ahead and start plug welding them. All right, so now that we got the dents in the door mostly cleaned up, good enough for my use, it's time we can start welding these holes up. For the smaller holes, shouldn't be that big of a deal. For the larger ones, normally you would have a backer to keep the weld from just going through the hole. Normally you would use a piece of copper, known as a copper spoon. But yeah, I don't have one. So I made one. Just took a piece of copper pipe, cut a piece out of it, banged it flat. That's gonna be my copper spoon. Let's see how it works. All right, there you go. They perfect? No, I don't expect them to be. Like I said, I'm not a welder, not a body guy. I just wanted to get the holes patched up for my purposes. It ain't gonna be pretty looking. That's not the intent behind this project. It's not to be a show truck. It's to go out there and just rip it up and have some fun. But now I got another crack. It's actually right about here on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this around. I'll show you what that looks like, what I've already done to prep that, and we'll get that closed up. All right, there you can see the other crack that I'm dealing with on the inside of the door. So what I did was I sanded it down a little bit and I actually cut into it a little bit with a cutoff wheel just to open it up a little bit. And then I drilled the end, so hopefully it won't keep cracking. So I'll go ahead and get this one welded up. Alright, so got the patch welded in. Yeah, I said patch. So, you remember earlier in the video when I said this? This should be pretty funny. Yeah, it turns out a funny thing happens when you use too large of a welding wire on sheet metal. Tend to burn right through it. So, once I got that figured out and got the right size wire in my welder, I cut out the area that was started right there as a crack. I cut out the area that I pretty much turned into Swiss cheese and welded in a patch. So a little bit more to do on it. Got a little piece here I got to figure out. I got to bend it a little bit better, form it to shape a little bit better, but it's in. It's mostly cleaned up. I'm just not in the mood to weld anymore right now. So let's move on to the what else I'm going to be doing to this door. So in one of my previous videos, which I'll link to up here, the video that I did where I kind of went over some of the work that I already did to the interior, when I talked about when I replaced the floorboards, I used Eastwood's X-Mat. It's kind of like Dynamat. It's a heat barrier, sound deadener. I use that under the carpeting. So I want to do something similar on the door. So I decided in the door, I went to my local big box home improvement store and I picked up some of this peel and seal, like waterproofing material. And actually, I'm just gonna open it right now. Almost dropped it. Kind of reminds me, kind of almost smells like X-Mat or Dynamat stuff. It's basically the same type of thing. It's just a real dense rubber sticky material. Yeah, I'm not going to fight with it right now. So I'm going to use this inside the door. This roll, which is 6 inches wide by 25 feet long, ran me about 16 bucks at the big blue box store. Figure give it a try. If it doesn't work, what's the worst going to happen? I got to tear it out and we'll try something else. It's worth a shot. Let's get it into the door. All right, so I got the peel and seal opened up. Measured the inside of the door. It's about 36 inches wide or so. So I just cut it into 36-inch strips. And I'm going to cover as much of the door as possible. I figured that'll also help with adding a little insulative. Sure. But I am definitely going to cover the portion of that's the inside of the door, especially if I ever plan on possibly installing a speaker in the door. So I'm going to cover this first, and then we'll compare the sound. We'll see if it sounds any better. I mean, that's pretty damn hollow. So let's get this one covered. It's going to take probably 2 pieces. Like I said, they're 6 inches wide. Yeah. Figure, yeah, 2 should cover inside of that panel. Let's see how it does. A little before sound. So I've already stuck one of these down in there to see how well it fits. And it fits pretty well. I want to get that down as low in the door as I can. It's going to start in the middle. Picked up a roller when I was doing my X-Mat. It's stuck on there pretty good. Let's go with the second piece. All right, so I got the 2 pieces on the front inside surface of the door. So remember the sound we heard before? It's better. It's not great, but it's better. So now that the inside panel is done, I'm going to go ahead and do the outside surface of the door. I got 5 pieces left. We'll lay those in there and just see how much coverage we can get with 5 more strips. Let's get them in. So you saw in the last 2 pieces I just did that I used a heat gun to warm up the peel and seal. The first piece I put in didn't stick. There's a texture or a coating inside the door that the adhesive on that peel and seal just would not stick to. So I thought I would try heating it up first to kind of maybe get it a little more pliable, to bring out a little more of the adhesiveness in the glue. Seems to have worked. These last two pieces, I overlapped them by about an inch. I put the one piece all the way to the bottom, right to the bottom of the door. The next piece, I overlapped it by about an inch. And then, yeah, it's sticking on there pretty good, actually. Warming it up definitely helped. So keep that in mind if you decide to do something like this to your old car, where you actually have steel panels and, I said, there's some sort of coating. So anyway, I'm going to continue on with this, but heat gun. Definitely got to remember the heat gun if you decide to do this to your old car and it has some sort of coating in there. Oh, and don't forget to clean the inside of the door too. I did that with the bottom panels first, and luckily I caught that right away. So that about wraps it up for the peel and seal inside the door. That last piece that I was putting like right here probably would have been a lot easier if the door was lying down. Maybe. It's hard to tell trying to get up in there. There's a lot of curves because of like this body line here, the recessed area for the screws for the door panels. So it's really hard to get it to seat and stick around a lot of these different shapes all inside there. But it seems like it's okay. So next I'll be taking care of the window regulator and the door handle and the catch. Not really a whole lot I can do with that. I'm cleaning that up also. But once all that's done, then we'll get this thing back together. Let's get onto the window regulator. All right, so one of the last things we need to take care of before getting this door all put back together is to clean up the window regulator. I mentioned earlier that a previous owner had painted the interior and didn't bother to mask anything off. So here you can kind of see on the regulator here where there's still paint. That part doesn't really interfere with the operation of the gears that are inside here. It was all this area here. So I cleaned this all up, cleaned up the gears as best I could, lubed it up a little bit, and it operates a whole lot smoother. My goal now is to replace all these rollers. I've already replaced one to kind of get an idea of how to do this. It's just a matter of drilling out the old rivets here and then pressing in the new ones. Let's get these other ones drilled out and get the new ones installed.
Don't let go, oh no no no.
So with the regulator back in, I went ahead and mounted the window to the regulator. Once the window was mounted to the regulator, I went ahead and replaced the window rubber. It goes all the way down into the door, down the track, down here on the inside. I also replaced the rubber in the track of the vent window. And I also went ahead and replaced the felt. So with all that done, the window operates a whole lot better. It's still tight just because all the rubber's new, the felt is new. So that's all just kind of got to break in. I also, let me move you over here and I'll show you what else I did to the door. I also went ahead and since I had the door out, so I got this grommet off of there was no hole here before to run speaker wire, to run power if I decide I want to do power windows later. So I actually got this grommet off of a ram charger also at the pick apart. When I drilled through that, I was actually in a inner cavity, so I had to drill a secondary hole through that cavity into the main door, which I also, so you can see that there. You can see that other grommet that's in that other part of the door that I had to drill through. So that hole is actually just big enough to run probably speaker wire through, and also to run possibly power if I ever decide I want to do power windows and power locks. So there you have it. Got the driver's side door all kind of rehabbed, like I said, except for the door panel. Still working on that. But now it's ready to go back in, and everything works a lot better. Can't wait to find out how well that sound insulation does. Hopefully that'll cut down on any road noise, door rattle, whatever. So now that that's done, it's time to go over and do the passenger side. But thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified when I upload new videos for this thing. And keep on watching. See y'all later.